Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another series of online lessons. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like for this lesson. Now, in today's lesson, we continue with normal distribution, and basically we were looking at how to find probabilities. So we looked at how to find the probability. Say you have Z less than maybe 1.3. How do you find that probability? And we said this graph that we have here only shows probabilities for Z less than. So if we are taught to find the probability of Z greater than, let's say 1.3, we need to convert this to a less than by subtracting from 1. So we say this is equals to 1 minus probability of Z less than 1.3. Okay, so this is what we did last time, and we continue from there. Now, suppose you're taught to find the probability of, let me see, say probability of Z less than 1.325. I'll give this example here, 1.325. So as you can remember, first of all, we need to look for 1.3 on our Z column here. And as you can see, we're on the negative. So let me just switch to the positive graph. All right, so for this case, what you do is you look for these two digits, 1.3, which you'll find here. So this is where 1.3 is. Then now you need to look for 2, which is 2 is under this 2 here. Okay, this is the column here. So this is where 2 is. Now there is this 5 here. We don't have an extra scale here. So what do we do in that case? So this is what I was saying. If the number here is 5, what you do is you get the number in between here. So meaning that it is between these two values here. Okay, so this 1.325 is the same thing as adding this number, which is this and this. So which is 0.025 and 0.02, 0.02 plus 0.03. So adding these and then dividing by 2. So this will give us 0.025. So meaning that 25 is somewhere in between these two values here. So what you do is you get the value on this side and the value on this side, then you add them, then you divide by 2. So in this case, we would get 0.9066, then we add to 0.9, this value here, 0.9082. So we add these, then we divide by 2. That will be our probability here. So in this case, so we see that if we add these two on top here, we're going to get 1.8148. Then we divide by 2, meaning that the probability of Z less than 1.325 is 0.904. So that is basically how you do that. So now there are some rules that you should consider. For instance, if you are finding the probability of Z, let's say less than 1.324. So this number here is less than 5, so we can simply round it off as probability of Z. This is less than 5, so it can be written as Z less than 1.32, which we can find right here on the table. Okay, then the other case is maybe probability of Z greater than 1.326. So above 5. So this can be written as probability of Z less than 1.33. So there is this. So this is what you should consider when you are working out problems on probabilities. Then the other consideration that you have to take is when you are asked to find probability of, let's say, 1.32 less than Z less than 1.53. So for instance, like that. So you have that. How can you find the probability of that? So clearly here we see that Z is between two values. Now let me give you a scenario. Suppose you have a plank like that. So suppose you have a plank and you have these two parts here. Okay. So what you can do is, if you want this area in between here, this area in between here, what you can do is you can find the area from this point, going this direction to the left, then you subtract the area from this point. Let me use white. From this point going this direction. So this will give you the area that is in between here. So same applies here. If this is the small number here is 1.32, so this is 1.32, and the big number here is 1.53. So what you can do is you can find the probability of Z. So this is probability of Z less than 1.53. Then from here, going this direction, this is probability of Z less than 1.32. Okay. Then now you can just say this is basically equal to this probability, the big probability of Z less than 1.53 minus this small probability. Let me write it here. So this is probability of 1.32 less than Z less than 1.53 is equal to probability of Z less than 1.53 minus probability of Z less than 1.32. Okay, so you know how to find this probability on the diagram, and you know how to find this probability on the diagram. You just do the subtraction there, and you'll find the answer. Okay, so that is the task that you're going to have tonight. So basically what I'm saying is, if you have a probability like this one, what you do is you just get the probability of the big number here, then you subtract the probability of the small number there, less than. So you take less than, then you proceed from there. So but if you have a question on this, I will be happy to answer. So now this is the activity for tonight. So that will be the task for today. So that is basically it. Submit the task. I'll be waiting on you. Have a good evening.